Hello, everybody, and welcome. Happy Tuesday. Sherry Moyes here, and I have company today, which is always fun for me to have a little company when I go live. And so, Judy, thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank you for having me.
You're so welcome. Judy is a integrative holistic wellness specialist, and she and I have gotten to know each other really well over the past 6 months. She's been a part of Soul Client Alignment, and I thought she was the perfect person to join me today for this first of 3 workshops, little mini workshops that we're going to do over the next few days. Many of you joined me in the full version of the workshops, and we got really great feedback on how helpful it was to go through the different pillars of the anti-marketing framework. So I thought it would be fun for us to do some interactive here in the group around these different pillars. So today we're going to look at our who, tomorrow we'll look at the how, and Thursday we'll look at our where, and I'll be giving you some prompts to help you to deepen into what those look like for you and how you are uniquely wired and designed. So that's the plan. If you are joining us live, remember that we're live on StreamYard, so you will need to give permission to the app in order for us to see your comments. And if you're joining us on the replay, hashtag replay, so we can come back through and answer your questions. So maybe before we dive into this particular pillar, maybe Judy, would you be willing to share with us a little bit about where you're from and what you are up to in the world and where things were at for you when you wandered into Soul Client Alignment?
Okay. So my name is Judy, and I am a integrative holistic wellness specialist. I'm located out of Miami. I have a studio located inside my house.
Share with us a little bit about where you're from. Whoops, sorry.
Basically, where I started out was the universe showed me once again that this is what I need to be doing, and in a not too nice way. So I just happened to be taking a bunch of courses and things like that, and I ran into the spring session of Soul Client Alignment, and I was so impressed with how well put together the workshops were and the speakers, and I got so much out of it that then I signed up for the mini course and then of course the full course, and it's been a transformative journey. Just as this year has been a very transformative year, it just, the universe just brought everything together for me this year, as far as taking my wellness practice into another phase and another development. And now I'm offering so much more than just Reiki sessions or just sound healing or just workshops on how to do and give Reiki.
Yeah, it's been quite a journey and a beautiful journey.
Yes.
The evolution of Judy really fully stepping into all that's possible. And this first pillar, I think was really pivotal for you to see things in a different light than you had before. So I'm excited for us to kind of dive into that today and share with others your own experience. So it'll be a great little case study for people to take a look at. So before we dive into that, what is this pillar? What in the heck are you talking about, Sherry? So if you haven't heard it yet, you'll probably hear it from me again. I talk about the anti-marketing blueprint or framework. And it's not that I mean that we're not supposed to market ourselves, because we do need to market ourselves, but finding a way to do it that is really honors and supports the way you are uniquely wired and designed. Traditional marketing is those cookie cutter, one size fits all tactics. And the big difference is that those are conceived in this mind versus anti-marketing, or when we use a Heartmind aligned marketing framework, we're really looking at a framework versus a formula, and then we can pull in the right formulas. It's uniquely you. There is not one framework that is identical because each one of us has a very different way that we're wired and designed. And then we really want the actions we take in our business to feel inspired. And that means it really tapping into this beautiful brain in our heart, so that it is conceived here, and then this mind can create. So the heart conceives, and then the mind can create. And it's really, and Judy and I have a love for astrology. So this is, I think it's a really interesting and powerful time to be talking about this, right? With the full moon in Pisces, and then the equinox, stepping into this beautiful energy of like what's possible. Pisces wants us to trust and surrender, right? And forgive ourselves for not doing things in a particular way, or whatever that forgiveness is we might need. And then we've got Virgo opposing, right? The sun, who helps us to take actions that are really going to move us forward. Mm-hmm. So, I know Judy is very heart-centered, but so was this approach when you stepped into it? What was your initial kind of, reaction to it?
Okay, so yes, I've always been never quite as focused. I have to say that getting even more aligned with my heart center allowed me to become more authentic and really step into and embody the specialist that I am. And really, before it was just kind of meek and like, oh, hi, this is what I do. And, and now it's like, hey, you know what? I do this and you need it. And I really, really feel much more connected to my practice now. Not that I didn't before, but it just needed that real like heart, love, passion to just come out for the work that I do and the people that I help.
We do a lot of back and forth in soul client alignment, especially the first few months of working on this first pillar of our who. And when Judy would leave me voice memos and share, and then I would give her some feedback. The day you left me the voice memo where I was like, you nailed it. Like, and I could feel it. Like I had tears. Like that is the thing that like makes me most excited, because I know that when that piece is there, when that pillar is there, the rest comes into flow really easily. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And you really trusted the process. So I want to honor that about you. You had you questioned, which is great, because everybody comes in.
Because as a human design generator, I'm just this like, but I've got to do this. And I can't just sit idle and just be like, okay, I just got to trust. It's going to come. That was tough. It was very tough. So,
well, we're taking action, right? But in a different way than usual. That's this whole idea. And I'm going to share my screen if we'll see how my friends at StreamYard. Okay, cool. So, is that flashing on your end?
Yeah. Okay, it stopped.
Oh. Did it? Okay. It's still flashing on my end. I don't know why it's doing
flashing.
That. Okay. All right. Maybe it doesn't want to be. Stop sharing. Okay, we're going to stop sharing because that is strange. So I'll post that image later. So let's step into this pillar and talk about what it is all about, because it really is the core. Now, the foundation of this framework is you, and everything runs through your heart mind, your own design. But if you're here, because we want to make sure you are aligned with everything, we've got this pillar over here, which is your who I support. And one of my beefs with traditional marketing is that we're told, and I have like workbook after workbook around this whole idea of like, just, identify and create all the things, like just write up your avatar and, write about your who, like, what do they like to drink where do they eat? All the things like, what books
Mhm.
do they read? And the problem with that is that it's conceived up here in your mind. And it doesn't leave room for you. It doesn't leave room for what's true from your who. And so the different approach that I like to take is to really truly understand that this is a process. I talk about this is where people get all, kind of nervous Nelly, like if you tell
Mhm.
you need to choose a niche. And I don't choose to use that word. I do believe that you need to be really clear about who you're talking about so that I know who to refer to you, so that I know who you can help, and so that that person hears your message and can raise their hand and say, yes. That's the litmus test is, do I raise my hand or can I think of someone when you share? And then when we try to create all these things in a vacuum, it loses, I guess things get lost in translation. And been there, done that. I worked with a coach who at the time I thought like he was masterful with messaging. Um, and I would listen to him with other people and I'd be like, oh, that's brilliant. And I remember a few times asking him to help me with my what do I do statement. And it was this flowery, like, all these words, but it said nothing. Like it didn't mean anything. And so my biggest fear would be, don't ask, like when I knew somebody was going to ask me, what do you do? I'd freeze and my brain would be going, oh, what do I say? What do I say? Do right? Yeah. Right.
Mhm.
That's how, that's why I get so excited when I hear my clients really embodying their who, when they really can talk about it and oftentimes I can talk about it right before they can. Like Judy would be like, what did you just say? That was so good.
I need to copy that.
What you got to do is
Yes.
get it from here.
Yes.
So then what do we do?
Mhm.
You can spend tens of thousands of dollars like I did for, to work with somebody who's really masterful at messaging. But if they don't know you and understand you, and if you don't know and understand yourself, the results aren't going to be there. So instead, the process that I take people through is really about being in discovery. And it's being curious, being really attentive, and patient with the forming, which because it's just your who for now. And if that gives any of you permission to like really relax into this process, then take this as permission. You're just identifying your who for now. That's why you are this foundational piece of this puzzle, because it has to be aligned and resonate with you. So how do
Absolutely.
you do this? So how do you do this? How do you identify your who? It's an inner journey and an outer journey. So if you joined me in the workshop this week, we did some chatting with some meditations to help bring that energy of our soul client forward. We also need to do some discovery out in the world and actually hear from people who we think are our soul clients or potential soul clients, what they believe, what they think their issues and problems are and desires are. Because inevitably, and we had this, Judy, right? We did a bunch of discovery, and then we looked at your spreadsheet and you had said, oh, this person's going to be a soul client and this person. And then once we started looking at it, what happened?
That was not the case. It was completely different.
Which can feel scary, right? You were like,
Yeah.
well, wait, now what? Like, I thought
Mhm.
this person was someone that I really wanted to help. So who did you originally think was your soul client?
More like I still work with people who are experiencing frustration, but it was more of who I thought at first was people who were more suffering from depression, suffering from anxiety, but not associating it with the rest of their health, which is what I do now.
Yeah. So you were, yeah. So, and it's when we say this was what was challenging,
Mm-hmm.
and I should have pulled up one of your original statements, but
Oh God, no.
but originally it was like, when we say, and I did this for once, I go, I help people, my statement for a while was I help midlife women who, have lost that connection to themselves and are suffering from anxiety and overwhelm. Well, it didn't really land with people because it really wasn't super clear. And so, getting deeper in. And so that statement, you're like, well, you always led with, I'm a Reiki practitioner.
Right. Yes.
And the beautiful thing about diving into your who is that you got to really uncover, and I saw this I see this always with each of my clients. The more that we uncover our who, we start to really know what gifts we have to bring. And now we're not owning this little piece of who we are, of some, certification we have or some whatever. We can really honor all that we get to show up for to support these people.
Right.
And that was a huge shift for you as you really stepped into that.
It was because I was more focused on like, well, I can help women who are, have emotional damage from relationships and some children that also have, and it was just like, no, that's not, we need to, refine it so that it's much more focused onto what you need to be, or the people that you need to be helping with all of your tools in your toolbox.
With all of your tools in your toolbox. Because I say this often, like if there were, 10 of you who are Reiki practitioners and I went to all 10 of you, I would have a very different experience with each of you.
That is true.
And it's so true. So, and we'll talk more about that pillar tomorrow, about how you help people, but it's almost like we can't talk about one without the other because they're intimately related. And especially when you start to really think about your who, and when we identified that Judy's who was really challenged with their physical well-being, and because the medical system wasn't supporting them in the way that it was creating and really giving them the health and the life that they hoped for. And then that meant that just Reiki wasn't all that Judy was going to be doing with people. So the who helped you define and open up to remember all the beautiful gifts that you have.
Right.
So tell us, so now who is it? Who is that person that is your soul client? And when I say soul client, I mean, it's that person that you're so excited about supporting and helping, and you're leaning in, and they know that you're the person to help them.
So my who now my clients now are people who they're ready to take their health and well-being into their own hands. They're ready to discover what else besides the medical system, the Western medical system, is out there that can help them. And what this program does is it honors and supports the healthcare regimen that you're undergoing, medications, tests. I pull in all of that information from my clients, and then we also integrate their mental wellness, their emotional wellness, and their spiritual wellness. And spiritual could mean anything, whatever my clients believe in. It allows us to have a better connection with that part of us, which is a lot of times is the foundation of who we are.
Yeah. So very different from like, I help people suffering from anxiety and depression.
Yes.
It's really clear. And drop a note in the comments, like, do you know, give me a thumbs up. Like, do you know who she's talking about? And maybe somebody, but is it bringing up an image of who? So this person who's been, going from doctor's appointment to doctor's appointment, from the pharmacy back home, a pile of pills on their desk, and they're still not feeling well. And, and reminds them that there are all these other pieces of their beingness that need some attention. And that in and of itself is going to support them on their journey. And interestingly enough, the reason that we keyed in on this is because I'm a good listener. And
I just saw a little light bulb go off.
well, it was the discovery. They had a very unique and condition. Is it called maldebarkment? Is that correct?
Maldebarkment, yes.
Maldebarkment, where it's like you get off. It's like you feel like you're just getting off a cruise ship all the time. It's so
an internal sway all the time, like all your organs, everything is moving all the time.
Yeah. So, but when she talked about that person, she would get excited and she would lean in. And when she would talk about other people, her affect was flat. So listening to yourself, as you talk about clients you've had or people you're interested in helping, is your energy uplifted, or are you stuck in your head?
Right.
That's the clue. So you've nailed your who when someone can understand who to refer you to, when people of that you're describing can raise their hand and say, that's me. And then when you're leaning in, because again, this is about you. And Judy will continue to refine this as she continues to work with people, even though this is somewhat narrow. I do know that there are going to be other slices to this that will allow her to say, oh, it's people who are struggling in the medical system in this way, and who are looking for this. But for now, we've got it narrow enough. And somebody's posted a comment. Yep, Kendra says it can totally see a few people who are in this place. Perfect. This is where the magic happens, where we can say yes, we've got it. So it's being curious, it's asking questions of yourself and of potential clients that will help you get this pillar erected. And we spend the most time on this, probably almost ad nauseum for a minute, because every time they'd be like, again, we're doing this again. Right?
But I thought I had already narrowed it down. And there's always another layer of the onion to peel off. So yeah.
And it's important, because I think, you see as that we did pull back those layers of the onion, we're afraid to go too narrow. Or too focused, because we think we'll miss someone who needs our help. And people will still hear you and resonate with you, especially when you're showing up excited about what you're doing and who you want to help. And people will feel your energy. And I've had many times people say, well, I don't know that I'm your ideal client, but I really resonate with you. And I really think you could help me. Can we talk?
I have one client that's like that. I do. She's like, I don't really, know too much about this whole spiritual thing, and I'm not really sick, but I think that this is going to help me to just, feel better. And, so you get both sides of the spectrum, the people who are actually sick, that are struggling with all of their symptoms. And then you also have the people that are like, you know what, I don't feel so terrible, but I'd like to make sure that I'm balancing every aspect of my life. So
they're hearing something, though, in what you're saying and what you're sharing that resonates, and it's because they resonate with you. And what I believe wholeheartedly is, the more we're in alignment with our message, when we're feeling really good about how we're showing up and what we're sharing, people feel that energy. And if they're meant to connect with us, they will. So don't get too hung up in getting, I will encourage you to get narrow and specific, but don't worry that someone won't see you. In fact, they will really see you and hear you, because your frequency, your vibration is aligned with how you want to be showing up in the world. And that's really, really powerful.
Yes.
Anything else about the
process? Important piece.
I know, and that can feel a little, like woo or what, but it's when that's that embodiment piece, right? Like that we talked about a lot during the summit. And it's that leaning in, it's that like, this feels good to me. How do you want to, I talk about this all the time. How do you want to feel? What do you want to be doing? And, do you want your experience to be like? And when we
and
are,
how are you connected? And how are you connected to that, that what it is that you do, plus the people that you want to service or help?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's where we, so many people who are, have a heart for helping others. And if you're in this group, whether you're doing it now or you're considering doing it, that's something that I know about you. You want to show up and share your gifts and help others. So making sure that they can hear your message and that they can connect with you and that you get that clarity and confidence you need to show up and say, this is what I do. This is who I help. And start with your who. Really, really start that deep exploration, because that's what's going to help you move the meter forward in your business. So I want to give you all a prompt to get you kind of going on this today. And then I want to invite you, we're going to post another, we'll do a separate post to put these in so they don't get lost. But I'm going to invite you to put it out there. Share with us a short version of your who. And then we're going to see, where are you with your message? Does it need a little more refinement? Do people get it? And take this as an opportunity to get some free coaching and some feedback. That's the best way to know. And there's no right or wrong, just show up and share. And then let's help each other to refine. Because that's the most powerful way to do it. So who is your who? Let us know. Again, we'll create a post this afternoon and a space to do that. So Judy, thank you for sharing the before and after on your who, because it's so powerful.
You're welcome. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, and we'll put Judy's information. And what's great is I'd love for you to share maybe a link to, you did a great post recently, what really talked to your who. So I'd love for you to share that so people can see how you're embodying that now in your marketing. Mm-hmm. And we're going to be chatting more over this week. Enrollment is open for Soul Client Alignment for this time around. And so if you are that person who is like, I am not getting the results I want, or I don't know how to connect with my soul clients, and you are really ready to take that step, either to start your business, to move your business forward in a different way, check out the program page. There's a lot of goodness here that I've created. It's the program I wish I had versus the guy who wasn't listening to me and helping me create a messaging statement. I still have we'll talk about that tomorrow, the 7-step signature system that I never really used. But it was all great learning. And it really taught me that this version of showing up for myself helps me to better show up for my clients. So I just invite you to get curious. If you're not sure if it's for you or not, book a short call with me. I'm not a high pressure salesperson. I have no interest in pushing anybody. I will stand for your transformation because that's my job. But if it's not me, then I will direct you to someone else that might be the better support for now. But check it out. This is where you can get all these pieces of all the pillars set up in your business and help you to move the meter and be doing the work that you're meant to do in the world, which is what Judy is out there doing now. She's got a number of new clients and more coming. Yes. And really stepping into that full expression of all that she's capable of. And it's just a beautiful unfolding to watch you to just really grow and flourish. And I know your clients are getting and going to get even more amazing results. So thank you for the work you do in the world, my dear.
Thank you.
All right, my friends. Well, thank you for joining us today. Thank you for being here, Judy. And tomorrow, same time, same bat channel. and Thursday right here. We'll keep these replays up in the group so you can go back and look at them. And remember to look for that post. We'll tag it and post your who so I can give you some feedback. And we'll see you tomorrow. Have a great rest of your day.
Bye, everybody.
Bye, everybody.